In today's video, I'll be showing you how to win the Gulag more often, as it's one of the best skills to have in order to become a better player at Warzone. We'll be covering practical tips on how to improve, the best plays to make for each side, and then we'll be breaking down gameplay of certain wins and losses that I've had in the Gulag. Let's get right into it. Enjoy the video. So from my experience in this Gulag, the main keys to winning this are of course footsteps, cover, and then playing passively. Now first off, if you're playing in a squad, you're going to want to learn your callouts. What makes this Gulag map different from all others is that every piece of cover is unique. Therefore, every single little piece of cover you can give a callout for. And with that, you can get very specific. So here we have car, cement, tank, crate, truck, alley. And then this building here is wood, and you can either say top wood or bottom wood, depending on what floor they're on. If you don't have a squad to give you callouts, that's still okay, because what's more important is the footstep audio. From my experience, footsteps are what decides most fights, along with how you choose to react to them. Later in the video, when we break down gameplay, you'll see how important footsteps really are. Let's get into some tips. The footstep audio that you hear in the Gulag only stretches about halfway down the map. Knowing that, you're highly encouraged to push up into the middle, as you'll be able to hear footsteps much more easily. Another thing I highly encourage is turning down your music setting. I don't know why, I think it's only in this Gulag. But sometimes a small musical chord plays while you're in the Gulag, so you want to mute that as soon as possible. I'm sorry. Now that the music is off and you can hear the footsteps, pay attention to what sound the footstep makes. There are two different footstep audios in the Gulag. There is wood and then there's concrete.
Get him, soldier.
If you hear wood footsteps, that means they're on the second floor of the wood house. Anywhere else, you're going to hear the concrete. So that means if you're in a matchup and you start to hear wood, that means you should immediately peek towards the window, as they're probably about to peek and try to get you from there. Before we get into the next part of the guide, let me remind you that you do have lethals and tacticals. Stuff like stuns, frags, claymores can give you easy wins if used correctly. I know this is very Captain Obvious type stuff, but I just wanted to remind you because a lot of people forget. Now, aside from your ability to gather information, I do have to admit that aim and movement are also important skills to have in the Gulag. If I were to sit here and teach you all the movement tricks and also teach you how to get better aim, this video would be very, very long, and a lot of people already know it. However, I do have videos for both the movement tricks in this game and also how to improve your aim within 20 minutes. So if you really want to win more Gulags and also excel as a player, I'd recommend you check them out. Alright, so here's where we get into the juicy stuff. This part of the video is where we talk about the different routes to play in the Gulag and which is the best. There's essentially three different options in the Gulag. There is the street, where the cars and tank are, there is the alley, and then there's the building, which I call wood. Now from my experience in the Gulag all day today trying to make this video, the street lane is by far the best one to play, and let me explain why. First of all, wood has almost no cover to push with, and its footsteps make it easy to confirm your location. Again, we talked about how the wooden house has the wood footsteps, so once you hear someone tapping on wood, that means they're upstairs and they're ready to peek out the window. When you push through the alley, again, there isn't any good cover, and it's also easy for grenades and other stuff to get funneled in. What some people do is they actually play top alley by hopping up on the wall, but it's extremely risky if you can't find the enemy immediately, because the longer you sit up there and look around for the enemy, the higher the risk goes of you getting shot in the back. Now let's talk about the paths and the routes you can take to win more in the Gulag. Now I'm going to say there is no best way to play the Gulag, but with these two strategies that I've used, I've won over 85% of mine. So here's how to play car side. First of all, you're going to attack sprint up to the right side of the car and peek to the left of the tank. Your goal here should be to watch if the enemy is getting behind the tank, because what they will do is they will see you while they get behind the tank, and then they'll peek around the right side to flank your cover. If you've acknowledged that they're not going for the tank, you then start to scan left around the crates, and then you make sure that the street is clear. At this point, you can use process of elimination to determine that the enemy is not in the street and therefore has to be in wood or alley. They can either come out through the car side or the crate side, and through footsteps that'll be very easy to determine. Alright, so if you spawn on crate side, your goal should be to get to the tank, as its cover faced towards the car side is extremely hard to counter, and you'll see what I mean. So first, you tack sprint to the left side of the crate. As you pass the crate, jump and aim towards the right and just get a glimpse in those few frames to see where the enemy is. If they're playing street that round, you're basically guaranteed to see them. From there, when you make it to the tank, at the front corner there is a nasty piece of cover here that you can use to head glitch and hit anyone on car side. In some cases, the enemy does make it to the tank at the same time as you, and in this case, you need to keep your gun up without sprinting, and you need to play your corner. What I mean by playing corner is basically staying at your corner. Don't run around the tank and try to do a merry-go-round with the other person. Just hold your corner and listen in your headset for their footsteps. They're going to either jump out the left or they're going to jump out the right, and based on that, you will be able to hear them well enough to pre-fire as they're doing it. In the case that the enemy doesn't play street or they don't make it to the tank with you and they're just playing alley or wood, you should still hold that corner as it's going to counter any push out of either crate side or car side. And now for the last part of the guide, let's break down some matchups that I've had while recording this video. For the first matchup, I spawn in on the car side and I can already start to see my enemy looking towards the tank, meaning there's a good chance that he's probably going to push towards it. I run in behind the car, slide, look between the tank and the crates, and there he is. The engagement starts, he lands a couple hits, and I hit absolutely none, so I back off and hide behind the car. What I'm trying to do here is wait the entire 5 seconds without getting shot so I can regen back to 100 health. But at the same time, I'm listening for footsteps to be ready for a push in case he loops either around the left or around the right. As soon as I get my health back, I get up and I peek the right. The reason why I'm peeking the right instead of the left is that most players will usually go from the left side to the right side of the tank in order to get the flank on the car. And all I'm doing here is just waiting for him to peek, and that's really all there is to it. After a second or two, he peeks and he just goes wide, no cover, no shoulder peeking at all, and I get the easy win. Next one, I'm on the crate side and I immediately get to the tank like I talked about in the strategy. I do a little double jump and I don't see him in the street, so I aim towards the house. I don't know where he is currently, so I'm just holding the cover and waiting for some footsteps to be heard. I hear footsteps up by the wood on the right, so that's where I'm aiming. But what he actually did was jump out the left window and hit the ground and take cover behind the concrete as I heard through footsteps. He wasn't ready for that and I was able to get all shots in before he even could react. Next up, same side but with the M16 instead, I apply the same strategy where I run past the crate and peek towards the right. There's a few frames in that jump where you can see his rose skin bounce towards the left, and I also get a confirmation through his footsteps. Based on footsteps, I can tell he's going for the left peek. I anticipate it, but I still choke the Gulag. The reason why was that I was ADS with a burst weapon, and knowing the iron sights are going to take up most of the screen and make it harder to track in close range. This guy outplayed me in the way that he came around the corner, hip fire, and then once he saw me, he just did a little quick scope. That was all it took. Anyways, lesson learned, GG to him, and I go ahead and apply it in the next Gulag. Next Gulag, I'm in the same spot with the same gun, and I try to do the same thing over again. I run towards the tank, and in the first couple frames while jumping, you'll notice that his character is hopping up into the window. Because of that, I peek towards the window on my side, anticipating for him to jump through. He even tosses a stun down by the truck, so I anticipate a push through there. But what he does is he jumps out the left window, and I could tell by the footsteps that happen around the tank. So I'm in the same situation again, and I apply what the guy did to me in the last Gulag. I do a little quick scope, a jump to the left, and it works out beautifully. For this next one, I spawn on car side, and I begin by going to the passenger side and scanning from right to left. I don't see him in the street, but I keep my sights locked around the corner in case if he pops up. While this is happening, I'm listening for footsteps in alley and house. What he ends up doing is a surprise attack from top alley, but fortunately since I'm behind the car, I have adequate cover to kill him and he doesn't land a single shot. That's why the car is so powerful in the Gulag, because it protects you from top wood, alley, and sometimes even the tank. So that's going to wrap it up for this Gulag video. I hope you enjoyed the tips and gameplay breakdown and learned something from it. One quick shot before I go, if you guys are new here or want to talk Warzone, you're more than welcome to join my Discord. It's something that we use every day to talk, post memes, and make friends. So if you're interested, the link to join is in the description. My name is Wetzel, and until next time, peace!